Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Okay, I have gotten the go-ahead. We are ready. Just a couple quick housekeeping things. If something loud goes on in your house, your dog starts barking, the phone starts ringing, please mute yourself. But remember, if you want to talk, that you unmute yourself. That's always a good thing. Welcome, Russ. Thank you for joining us. Hope you can hear me. And Russ, I think you're the only one that hasn't been here for a minute. So if you have a pencil and a piece of paper and your book, if you have a physical book, please grab those because we'll be using them. Oh, a great chance to mute when someone's phone's ringing. There we go.
My husband just took it away.
All right. And like they said, Lewis brought up, there's a commercial break halfway through where you will find out some more things about some books. I think I even have a commercial in there. So pretty exciting. So what we are talking about today is characters, developing characters, the archetypal character types. I want you to think about, first of all, I want you to we'll go around the room, and I want you to say your name, the name of your book or what you think you call your book, and your main character. And for those of you with multiple books, maybe think about the main character that is to you the most memorable, the one that has the deepest backstory maybe. So think about that. So let's do that right now, and then I'll move on to the next part. So we're going to go over the archetypal types and then how to develop the characters. And I will take you guys' wisdom too, because some of you have a lot of experience in that area. So let's start. I'm going to start with you, Lonnie, because you're up in my upper left. So what is the name of the book, maybe that you're most proud of and that has the name of the character?
Well, I'm a nonfiction writer.
Okay.
My favorite book is called The Book of Moors. My first published book is called Moorish American Nationality, Keys of the Moorish American Institute. My third published book is called The Best Business Book, the black, white, and green of what colleges and universities don't teach in 33 pages in 3 days. So there are no characters in my books.
Okay.
However, I write in pen names. I write nonfiction in pen names, and I don't want to discuss those because I don't want.
Right. You don't want, you don't want us to know. I get it. So that's fascinating. You have nonfiction, but no characters.
Nonfiction, administrative law, indigenous peoples, and court records procedures is what my work deals with.
Wow, that's fascinating. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
welcome. Thank you, Lonnie.
I do love characters. I'm also a screenwriter, filmmaker. So yes, I'm right with you on developing characters, and I'm looking forward to all of your input.
Okay, great. So you might think about one of those characters as we're going through this.
All righty.
And Russ, hopefully you'll be coming back. It looks like you tried again. We're here for you, man. We're rooting for you in your technology, man. We can relate. We can relate. Nadine, so tell us a little bit about what you think, anyway, the title of your book will be and your main character.
I'm not sure about the title, but she's been living in my head for some years. It's historical. I'm placing my young woman in Denver in 1858, 59. I kill off her parents right away. So
we're going to talk about that.
She's traveling. She's traveling from Missouri. She and her little brother, her parents died from things that cholera, which was horrible back then. But they were traveling because her father is a newspaper man, and she has always been helping him. And so she knows the business. So instead of turning around and going to go with their aunt, which is an option, she and her little brother continue the father's dreams. And so she opens up a little newspaper, and she will rival against Mr. Byers, who has opened up the Rocky Mountain News.
Nice.
I do know the name of her newspaper is going to be the Town's View.
Does she have a name?
Her name is Annie.
Annie. Okay, great. So you've mentioned some things that we're going to be talking about. So a character can be more than one of these archetypal character types. And I just saw somebody there, Rita.
Hello.
Hello, Rita. Welcome.
Thank you.
You will need a piece of paper, a pencil, and a copy of your book if you have a physical book. Oh,
got it.
You are ready. And since I'm on the top row.
Oh, wait, let me get the book. Let me get a copy of my book.
Okay. Then I'm going to go real quick with Clarence. So Clarence, what's the title of your book and your main character's name?
So the title of my book is called Erebus the Ranger. And the main character of the book is Erebus.
Erebus. Well, that's easy. Okay. Great.
And so basically it's a story about how it was a kingdom back in like medieval times where like there's a king who like loved his people, helped out his people, but he wanted to make sure that all his people was able to like defend themselves. If anything were to happen, they would be able to like defend themselves, have their kids defend themselves. So the king wound up dying and then got taken over by a ruthless tyrant called Thaddeus. And so Erebus's parents at the time, before he was born, got kicked out of their homes and got moved to what they called like the slums, where they called all the people the slum rats. And so there's a bar there or a tavern called the Wolf's Fang, and everybody there is treated like family, everything like that. Then one night, as you can see, it's kind of like red right here, like a blood moon.
Yeah.
The night of a blood moon was when Erebus was born, and so from that day, they all try to raise him like very correct and try to raise him as a family. But then one day, Thaddeus's right-hand man, the torturer, came along, started like roughing up like one of his friends, killed her, and so pretty much like Erebus had like this whole guilt complex where he just like felt guilty that he couldn't do anything. He wasn't strong enough to like help nobody out. He felt bad. He would carry like the weight of everybody. He blamed like all his friends and his family that they let people die. And so from then on, he was on a path of revenge throughout the whole entire book, and everybody tried to sway him not to, that like you don't really want to go down this path. But he learns, as Liam Neeson would say, a very particular set of skills and everything to kind of get his revenge.
Right. Okay. So I'm hearing you guys mention some things about different characters. So if you want to wait until after we've said the character types, because then you can tell us a little bit more about your characters, because then you can include, oh, my character is the leader, he's the warrior. Okay. So just tell us right now the name and the name of the book and the title and the character's name. And then when we've talked about the different archetypal types, then you can tell us a little bit more and what of those types you see. That's what I want you to keep track of on your paper.
Okay.
So now I'm going to jump back to Rita if you're ready. So Rita, the name of your book and your character.
The book was written to tell my story about my life. I am an immigrant. I came from Nigeria in the early 80s. I came to America just to join my husband, who we just got married. 14 days later, I joined him in the plane and landed in America. I came in here thinking that I was coming for a honeymoon. And my plan was to, come enjoy, go places, enjoy life here a little bit, and then my husband finished his studies, and we would head back home and build life together. That was 43 years ago, and that plan never worked at all. So in this book, I said things, it was more about my life, my experiences in America,
Okay.
what I went through. So did that go too far?
No, I think it's going to be really interesting. I was thinking about this with autobiographies and character development. So that's another thing for us to think about. What is the difference in character development? And we won't talk about it now. We'll talk about it in a bit. What's the difference in character development in an autobiography as opposed to fiction, like most of the other of you have written, or historical fiction? All right, Mr. Lewis.
Yes. Where'd my sign go? I was going to cheat off of that. My name is Louis Panagotopoulos.
I know with a last name like that, Lewis, I can believe you need cheating.
And my book is great. Oh, there it is. My book is Great Mandala. And my main character is Robbie. And I always like a little tongue in cheek, even though it's serious subjects, a lot of things I write, I always like to throw in some humor. So his name is Robbie Banks. I don't emphasize it. It's just that's his name throughout the story. And if anybody wants to laugh, it's okay. But I just like to throw in a little bit of humor with the serious subjects that I write. Just a quick. The story opens up. He's a college student on the campus of Kent State University in 1970. So you can kind of see where that's going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. And I believe last is Judith. Unless, Russ, you are still around and you want to tell it to us in the chat and you can stay involved. So we'll let Judith speak. And if you want to put that in the chat, Russ, feel free. Okay, Judith, one of your books, the name and the main character.
Well, my novel is Journey to the Pacific, One Man's Quest. And it's about a man named George Sievers. He is born before the Civil War starts. He is lost his father and two much older brothers to the war. His mother couldn't cope with taking care of a small child, and he was placed in an orphanage, state orphanage. It was a rather cruel place, and he ran away when he was 15. He had read a story about Lewis and Clark and the Pacific Ocean, and his goal was to reach the Pacific Ocean and see the waters of the Pacific. And this is a story about his journey. He finally saw it, and he was a grandfather when he saw it. So,
wow,
it's a story about his life and what happens to him along the way.
Nice. Great job, guys. That was exciting. Okay, so now I just see. Thanks, JP. Good to see you. Good to see you again. All right, so now I want to go over the 14 different archetypes, okay, character types. And I want you to think about and put on your paper which of these types are representative of your main character. And of course, you can make notes on other things too if you want to. But I want us to say in the moment, if you can think about a popular person from a movie or a book, a popular character that really accentuates this particular character type. Okay, you got the rules?
Yes.
Great. So you're writing on your paper the stuff about your own character, but you're going to say, if you can think of somebody that really fits what description I'm going to give, go ahead and say it. You don't have to raise your hand, just say it. You guys are very polite. Pretty much, except Lewis. But no, I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go. So the first type is the leader. This is always an active character, leads the charge. People come to them for their advice. Does that ring any bells for anybody?
Andy Griffith in the Mayberry.
Oh, yeah. Andy Griffith. Yep, that's a great example. If most people on here probably, except maybe a couple of you. So Andy Griffith was a very down to earth. He was the police officer in a small town, and everyone came to him for advice. And he definitely led the group, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was a great example.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a great example. He was a great leader.
Yoda.
And Yoda fits another one too, Lonnie. So think about Yoda as we continue on our little journey here. Okay, number 2 is the outsider. This is the person that often adds a layer of mystery, may solve specific issues. That also kind of sounds like the why man, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of the outsider. There was this mystery around him. But can you guys think of somebody else who is the outsider like this?
James Dean, is he an outsider?
James Dean?
In,
You guys think James Dean?
in what?
Giant.
Giant.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I was always annoyed. There was no
Wait.
giant in that movie. You know, it's,
Thank you for your comment, Riley. Okay, 3, the caregiver. So this is the person that's calm, nurturing, a soothing voice.
Yoda.
Are you a Star Wars fan? I'm just asking. I was thinking Andy Griffith too kind of fits that role. But
Yep.
who is there anybody else that you guys can think of? The caregiver?
Alice and Brady Bunch.
Oh, yes. Great example. There's a story, and you guys look like it. Oh my God, there's 6 of
We
you.
are the Brady Bunch.
I don't know. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so, Louis. Okay, 4, the rebel. So this is a person that goes against the grain. This leads to an interesting conflict with other characters. Who do you
James
see?
Dean and the Rebel.
I was thinking James Dean too.
Well, I was
Yeah.
thinking Brando.
Who?
But Marlon
Marlon
Brando.
Brando.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark in Battle of the Planets.
Who?
Mark in the cartoon series Battle of the Planets.
I
G-Force.
don't know it.
I don't
No?
think I've seen that one.
That's all right.
No.
It's kind of like in the Lego movie. I think that the hero in the Lego movie is kind of a rebel too, which is another good movie. That's the quality programming I watch.
I'm sorry, I ran a blank, but I bet you Clarence will know. The guy that, not Luke Skywalker, the guy that drove the Millennial Falcon, played
Han
Oh.
The
Solo.
guy who had Chewie.
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
Han
Yeah.
Solo.
Was the Rebel.
Yeah.
Yep. Good one. Good one, Louis. Good one. Okay, the mentor. So this is the person
there's
that
Yoda.
provides information, support, encouragement.
Um,
Isn't that Yoda?
Oprah Winfrey in The Color Purple.
Oh yeah. Have you? And the new one.
I haven't seen that
can't-
one yet. Have you?
Oh, it's amazing. It
Is
is.
It's
it-
a musical, isn't it? I heard it was a musical.
Yes, it's amazing music, and yeah, it's really a good one to watch. But that's a really good one because
Mary Tyler Moore is another one.
yep, Mary Tyler Moore was too. Okay, what about the professor, the educator, teacher?
You know what I'm gonna say?
Don't do it, Lonnie. Just don't. Control yourself, Lonnie. It's okay. Just no, you've got to think of something else.
All right, how about Mickey in Rocky?
Okay,
Oh, I love that fight there.
great. That's good. I'm proud of
Whoa.
you. You stretched your boundaries. I'm proud of you. Good.
Oh, that was good.
What about the warrior? Tough, confident, skilled at combat. As I was listening to, I think Clarence described, was it Clarence? Yes. It seemed like his main character kind of fit this description a bit, the warrior.
Rambo.
Oh,
Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Jean
Rambo.
Paul Van Damme in Kickboxer.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Bruce Willis in anything he's ever done.
Yep.
Aquaman.
That's an easy identity
Yeah,
to
yeah.
identify.
Okay. The next one, the hunk. So this is the hot guy. Sometimes stereotypically not so smart, but sometimes just misunderstood.
Rocky.
Rocky, okay. Has anyone seen the new Ghostbuster movie with the women?
Yes.
No.
Melissa McCarthy. There is a very stereotypical hunk in there. He was a hunk. And you don't remember that, Lonnie?
No.
I bet the women in your life do. But I'm just saying. Did anyone else see that movie?
No, but
No, okay, never mind. If you watch that movie, you'll say, "Oh yeah, she's right. He was a hunk."
well, how about the Scottish guy in the Outlanders?
I haven't seen that one.
Jamie.
The Outlanders. It's a famous book series.
Yeah, I think his name is Jamie.
Jamie, yeah, Jamie
Yeah.
and the Outlanders.
Yes, he
Like-
is a hunk.
Tom
He's a
Brady,
hunk.
and it was Tom Brady in a skirt. It was amazing.
Yes.
All right, 9 wise. I know what you're going to say, Alani. They may serve as a destination. They tell the others what to do or where to go. Now, this is the one I'll let you say that one again because
Yoda.
it's so perfect.
Yoda.
Yep.
Actually, Obi-Wan Kenobi, give him some credit.
Oh, there
Yes.
you go.
Obi-Wan, we gotta bring him in there too.
A lot of
Absolutely.
Jedi fans here. What about Palpatine?
What about Spock
Oh,
Ah,
Yes.
Rock.
for
How
doing
about
science
Apollo
fiction?
Creed in Rocky too?
I haven't seen that one. I'm trusting you. I'm trusting that it's true. All right, number 10. The
Rocky
Uh,
3.
let's-
I just want to make a correction. It was Rocky 3. Apollo.
Of course. That's
Rocky
why I didn't get it.
defeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
we were judging you on that. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah,
I
I
had to
had to
correct
get it
you.
right. You know,
He was dead in Rocky 4, so it couldn't
We
have
have
been.
our pieces of paper. We had all taken a note of that. Number 10, the orphan. And I definitely heard some of you talk about your main characters as the orphan. And often the main character has a lot of challenges. Making them an orphan is a really easy challenge to give them. So isn't that interesting how many of you had said that your main
Yes.
character was an orphan?
Yes.
I hate to go here again, but Luke Skywalker.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right, Luke.
Yes.
Who else? Name some other orphans. Annie,
Annie?
of
Little
course.
Annie. Yeah.
Harry
Orphans.
Potter.
Harry Potter. There's so many orphans. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
Right.
All the Dickens characters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
In most of Disney movies, they kill off the moms. They might have a dad.
Yep.
Oh,
Bambi.
Disney kills moms, right? Starting with
Yeah,
Bambi.
Right.
Yep.
And the kids are always trying to fix up the dad with some, a new
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Doggone it.
Doggone it.
It must be profitable. Okay. Hero, the triumphant character that prevails over evil.
Every movie, almost.
Right.
It's a rule, right? It's a rule written into every
Aquaman.
story.
I love Aquaman. Who?
Superman, Batman.
Millions of, yeah, Batman.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, Sully,
Right.
Okay. The jester, the trickster that
Mhm.
cuts the tension. That I would say Jim Carrey and everything he's ever done.
Well, the sidekick. I mean, just about anybody's sidekick, I would think.
Yeah.
Isn't always the trickster, not the sidekick, not assist.
Jerry Lewis and the Lewis and Dean Martin movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But would you call Jerry Lewis a trickster or a joker?
Joker.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
those are
it's
kind of the
Dean
same
Martin.
because there isn't one that specifically.
It cuts through the tension. As
Yeah.
defined.
And
The thing is, when you say Joker, it implies that someone's intentionally making tricks and things like that. That's why I think it might. It kind of.
But it doesn't.
kind of
Correct me if I'm
tightens-
wrong, but a trickster is someone who leads somebody intentionally down the wrong path,
Yeah.
causes harm.
Mm.
Trickster is another name for the devil.
But Jester-
Who's the guy who was the little weirdo guy looking for the ring? The
Oh, God.
Bilbo Baggins. That guy.
Eagle.
That's
no,
terrible.
well, no, the ugly little guy. Ah,
The ugly little guy.
who's going? My precious.
Smeagol.
Yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a better example,
Trickster.
probably. I think you're right.
Danny
little
DeVito.
evil.
Yeah.
Okay, there's two more of these. The seducer or the seductress. Usually someone attractive who can seduce to get what they want. Please don't say Yoda. Please.
How about James
Avoid
Bond?
it.
Well, that's
James
every
Bond.
necessary character in film noir.
What?
That's every necessary character in film noir.
Which
Oh,
I
yeah.
love film
Assuming
noirs.
it's
I am
film
hooked on film noirs, but son of a gun. I hate it. Double Indemnity.
Double indemnity.
Yeah.
Right.
What's her name? Was definitely the seducers wanted to murder her husband for the insurance. I'm blanking on her name. We know
Yeah.
her from Big Valley. Oh, son of a gun.
Barbara
Barbara
Stanwyck. Barbara
Yes,
Stanwyck.
Judith.
Barbara Stanwyck.
Yes, Judith. So she
Yeah.
definitely was the seductress in Double Indemnity.
Okay, good. And the last one, bully. Often used to make the main character's life a lot harder.
Now, can we call as the bully? I noticed you didn't have antagonist on here, so is the bully the antagonist?
Yes.
All right.
It is. I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
It could be every teen movie. You know, all the kids the nerds, the Revenge of the
Yes.
Nerds. Even the Karate Kid got bullied.
Mean Girls.
The kid in My Bodyguard got bullied.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay,
I got bullied.
it is time for our commercial break. So
Okay. And now
Mark is going to bring on the commercials in a second.
That was fast.
So be thinking about what your characters were of those.
Well, can our characters be more than like a mixture of like two things or more?
Yes, more than two. Definitely.
Or none.
True.
No wonder no one's buying this. Well,
Okay.
congratulations, Linda. That's
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Great.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, Reader's Magnet does a great job for sure on creating those kinds of things. Thank you, Reader's Magnet. All right. So, does anyone want to share what of those character types are your main character? And then we're going to go into the character development. How do you develop characters that people can really connect with?
Well,
So,
my
Clarence, I
main
know yours was definitely the warrior, the
Right.
hero. And was it yours an orphan too? Seems like it was.
Yeah, he wanted to become an orphan. Plus,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a rebel too. I
Yeah.
consider him a rebel as well. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I have to say, my guy with his name Robbie Banks is, I think he's the jester.
Nice.
But if I may elaborate, in school he ends up meeting this woman called Kate, and they end up getting married and going on through life, and she's a leader. So
Nice.
I guess really Kate might be the main character, but because I'm a male, I put a lot of maleness into the main character, but I think I would consider him a jester and Kate the leader.
Interesting. Okay.
My
nice.
character is several of those. He is the leader. He is an orphan. He starts out as an orphan. He's a leader. He's a caregiver to his family. He's very wise in his decisions about going across the country and how he did it. He's a hero. He builds a business, owns a hotel. He's a hero to the city that he develops and helps to grow. He's a mentor to a lot of the people in the city. So he's a lot of those different characters all rolled into one.
Yeah. Maybe even the professor too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's an avid reader, and he instills the joy of reading into his children.
Good. That's good.
I can see my secondary characters in some of these that I'm thinking, but my main character, Annie, she's a caregiver. Well, she's an orphan. Like I said, she's going to carry on this dream of her dad's to have a paper in the early Denver city. But she's got a 12-year-old brother she has to watch after and make sure he goes to school. And she, some of her reporting, okay, there's going to be a crime. There's going to be a stagecoach robbery and murder. But her investigative reporting is looking at the mines and how they collapse and kill people. So she's digging into the corruption of the owners, the claim owners, and then they're going to have this Mrs. Addison. The name can always change, but she runs a general store, and she's got these young people because Annie's only a teenager, and so she is mentoring these two young people who are new. So she's going to be that motherly figure that these two have lost.
So kind of the caregiver.
So she'll be the
motherly mentor, maybe caregiver type.
Yeah.
Lonnie, did you want to share any of your?
Sure.
Yeah.
I did write a novel and just turned it into a screenplay and got to shoot 22 pages of 90. The story's called Cobra and Conductor, and it's about a 12-year-old boy who converts a model train car hobby into a criminal enterprise.
Fun.
Yeah. And so he's an orphan. He becomes an orphan in the story. He's also a mentor, a hero, leader. He takes on several roles, as do most of the main characters, the 5 main characters in the story. So yeah, I know the play of how to interpose the different character archetypes in one character.
Yeah, good. And Rita, I know you're having some issues with your sound and that kind of thing, but if you want to put something in the chat, and like I said, it's interesting, isn't it, with character development in autobiography, because that's what the whole book is about, is just that one character. And but I don't know, sometimes I think that
Are you
it could be deeper.
even though you can't see me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, Rita. Go ahead.
Okay, I apologize, for my problem with the camera. So as a matter of fact, Francis had asked me to attend this meeting. I had no idea what he's asking me to attend. So this book that I wrote is my first book ever written. Okay. I didn't consider myself an author when I wrote it because I was writing this book for something like a legacy for my family, so that, you know, my family will know the tribulations that I went through when I first came to America. So, but it ended up being published because when my brother got hold of it and read it, and he said, no, you can't just keep this book in the closet, you have to publish it. So now that's how I ended up being an author. And so the meaning that I'm giving you as a background as why I'm kind of a little bit oblivious as to what we're doing here, but I'm slowly catching up, and so hopefully I will finally join in the whole thing. But to say the character of my book, the character of my book is me.
Right.
I am the character in the book from beginning to end of it. My family also were featured in it, but I am the main character.
Right. Mm-hmm. So as we go over these character development challenges, or how you develop the character, be thinking about that, Rita, is how does my book reveal these things to the reader? And the first thing is believable characters, so that have a full background. And definitely I would keep track, and those of you who have written some fiction already, but have a piece of paper or a Word document, whatever, that keeps track of all these things for each of your characters, so that you can easily remember, oh yeah, this guy is from Oklahoma, or whatever the case may be, and you can thread that into your story as you go along. So it's important for you to keep in mind these bits of their character that we want to develop.
I write a timeline.
A timeline's a good thing too.
I write a timeline, and with my cast of characters, so that each time I add a character, I put the time that they're added, you know, what year or what month in the year. And then I have to make sure that the facts of that time, if I'm writing in the 1800s, they didn't have automobiles in the 1800s, and they had horses and wagons to get across the country, and trains. I had to research, okay, when did the train come to Denver? When did the train come to Cheyenne? When did the train come to Portland, Oregon? So you got to keep track of all that in order to be believable.
That's a great point, Judith. So if it isn't something that's going on right now, what was happening at that time? Because you do, especially if it's historical fiction, you want to make it authentic. And like Lewis was saying, in the 70s, writing a story where he remembers to not add the cell phone, you know?
Yeah.
So keeping track of that's really important. So I love that. So having the a timeline that shows when the person came, as well as paper that lists their backstory. Where were they born? Did they have brothers and sisters? What were their parents like? What was their childhood like?
Yes.
So you really get a deep feel for the character. And you also want to make sure that you know the character's strengths and weaknesses. Yes. And at least 3. So 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses. Is that an easy thing to write, do you guys think, to kind of keep that track of that as you go?
Do you feel that throughout the story, each main character should demonstrate 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses? Is that
I don't know if it has to be demonstrated. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that, but you have to know it.
Gotcha.
No, you have to know it so that person has that depth.
They have to know their own strengths and weaknesses. And weaknesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Linda, I was fooling with my camera, and I missed some of the characters that you listed. I got all the way to 6, No, 5, which was mentor, and then 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'll type them for you.
Huh?
I'll type them for you.
Please, I need somebody.
Ronnie?
I need someone to fill me in on those characters because I missed them.
Right. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thanks, Lonnie.
Sure.
So knowing their strengths and weaknesses, keeping track of that, and then is that going to show up in the story? Thinking about that. Is that important for this to show up in the story?
Yeah.
And I think, Clarence, as you were talking about your character, it seemed like one of his weaknesses was he didn't have a lot of faith in himself, that he was afraid he wasn't able to do what he needed to do.
Exactly. And it's and it's cool that you brought up like the points of like weaknesses and strengths, is because I think one of his strengths is that he's like very determined and that he really doesn't give up.
Right.
But I think his weaknesses is that he's so far, is letting his emotions like overrule like his common sense and his thinking, and that he's not really willing to like listen to anybody else. So he's just like, I'm just gonna go. I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna get it done my way. I don't care what nobody says. No one's gonna stop me. Things like that.
Yeah, and so making sure that the reader knows why he's making those decisions, and part of that comes from the backstory.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And another thing that can make a character memorable or stand out or connect with is some weird trait or habit.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone think of, maybe does your character have a weird trait or habit, or somebody, another character that we've all heard of in books or movies that has that?
Ratso Rizzo in Midnight Cowboy. He kind of limps around.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever watched, is it Monk with...
Monk, yeah. He's a clean freak.
Yeah. So
But
he
actually,
has
he was
really weird traits and habits, some really different things. Oh,
Well, he's
wait.
the antithesis of Columbo, who was a slob.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it is time once again to take a little break with another few short videos.
It was fun.
Was that fun?
I don't like commercials, but I like these commercials.
I know.
Very well put together.
Does anyone remember the hat that we just saw?
The hat.
Lady.
On the first lady.
The first lady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, first lady, the hat. And it's not that that's weird, but it's different. So it catches your eye. And if she always wore a hat like that in her story, that would be something like they're talking about. This trait or habit, something that everybody doesn't have, that makes her stand out and is unique. Because that hat was very different and beautiful, and it really like caught your eye. So that's kind of what they're talking about there with that. It's also really important that your character is not perfect. That's why my book's called The Power of Imperfect Parents, right? Because ain't none of us perfect. So making sure that they have some flaws, because that's how we connect to people when they're honest and they let us in why they're making these mistakes, right? As opposed to the person who acts like they're perfect.
Agency.
The motives of each character needs to be realistic.
Hold on, let me meet.
Does that make sense to people?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, I think one of the who has seen the movie It, the Stephen King movie It?
Yes.
Stephen King is so good at developing characters, and in the movie It, there's a group of I think 7 kids, and you really hear their backstory. You really see what their life was like, and then it leads you to understand why they did what they did, or why you're like, oh my God, that's great what they did. Like, for instance, one of the kids has a super close relationship to his mother, and his mother is very overprotective and has made him feel like he's always sick. Okay. So in the end, he is like one of the huge heroes that goes after and like kills the monster. So then you really think, wow, that was so amazing that he was able to get past his fear and just, you know, he wasn't a courageous character, but in the end, he gets himself together and he does something, you know, really courageous. So it really makes you feel for him even more and appreciate what he did. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so that their motives, because you've told us enough about them that we understand why they make the choices that they make. Who has seen the movie Corilla?
No.
About Corilla DeVille? If you haven't,
Oh, yes.
Oh, is
Great.
that Glenn Close?
what?
Glenn Close played in that, I think.
Was
Was
she
she
Corilla?
real?
Horrible with people's names. I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it was her.
But I love how in the movie Corilla, because Corilla DeVille is the bad guy in 101 Dalmatians. And
Yes.
it really gives her backstory so you understand, oh, why was she so evil? The other
Wicked
thing,
did the same thing with the witch.
yes.
Wicked, you see it so differently after reading Wicked.
Yep, Joker, they really say the backstory of Joker, why he was the way he was.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about Corilla, the next thing is give them a unique physical feature. An obvious Corilla with the half black and half white
Right
hair.
here. Yeah.
Harry Potter, the scar on his face, the lightning scar. Can you think of others that have that really unique physical feature?
Voldemort with his non-existent nose.
Oh yeah, he's scary.
Rocky with the
Tom Selleck with his mustache.
That was a unique mustache, that's for sure. Develop the characters to be different. You don't want them all to be the same. So they each have their own unique perspective. Using the list, you can find different things. Make sure your secondary characters are different from your main character. Kind of the same idea. You don't want everyone the same.
No.
Give them a unique voice. Who can you think of who has a unique voice?
Porky.
Sean Connery.
Don't even. Don't, Lonnie. Just stop in the name of your
Yoda's a great example.
Right. Yeah, it is. Just do it, Lonnie. Just. It is. Yoda is
Because
a great.
he changes the place of the action words and the noun. Yoda.
To the store I will go. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it that way. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. So he does have a very unique voice, not only how his voice sounds, but his word placement, how he puts words together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few examples of that. Definitely.
Sean
Maybe.
Connery, who is Scottish James Bond.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Schlesinger Seven.
Yeah.
And of all the brands he had, I used the Schlesinger Seven.
How about Marlon Brando as the Godfather?
Oh yeah.
Godfather. That's right. Batman. Mark just wrote in the chat.
Oh, Christian
Batman.
Bale. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
And again, this is interesting, isn't it? When you're writing an autobiography, what makes your voice unique?
I have a question for Rita. Rita, is your autobiography written in the way you speak, or do you write out more correct, perfect dialogue? If you could type that, that'd be great. Like, do we hear in your writing how you would sound to the ear? Do you misspell words?
No, I don't misspell words.
No.
Do you mean in the language? In what language?
Would you say, for example, I want to do this? Would you say I wanna do this?
Oh, okay. No, actually, I spoke good English because I was trained with English, like what do you call that?
British
English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you read my book, those are the things that I pointed out that were different for me, that I had a little trouble trying to wrap around them because I listened to people speak American English. They were completely different. I was not able to understand when I speak to people at the time. They said, "Oh, what did you say?" Or "What you said," what you said, instead of saying, "What did you say?" which is how I would say it. So actually, yeah, the semantics were different, and it was, some of my book, for some of the things I wrote it in the way that they sounded to me,
Good.
instead of how it should be written.
Good.
Yeah. I think
Good
that's
question.
important, isn't it? To keep it authentic.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
To keep the voice authentic.
So we can hear the character.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And like if it's a child speaking, they're going to use very different dialogue typically, unless you're that kid on whatever that show is. I always forget the name.
Young
of it.
Sheldon.
Young Sheldon,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. Unless you're young Sheldon, you're not going to use the same words that an adult would use. Or if you're from a different place, a different country, you're going to say things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to make sure that.
Or even this country, going from how English is spoken, say,
right.
the fast dialogue of New York to the slow dialogue of Tennessee.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
Tennessee sounds different than West Virginia and Texas.
And the word choice,
and
too.
North Carolina.
Right. Right.
Carolina.
I need to add this part about Texas. Texas is not an accent. Texas is what's called a brogue. I don't have that because I grew up in Cleveland, but I was born in Texas.
Brogue.
That isn't even true. Is that really true?
Texas is called the way Texans speak is called a brogue, not an accent.
I thought the Irish had a monopoly on brogues.
I've never heard that. Thank you,
Well,
Lonnie.
my mother's people helped found Ireland, Texas, and they're from
And I must tell you guys, we did get a comment from JP. Thank you, JP, that you are all teaching everybody so much. I really appreciate everyone's contributions.
Thanks, JP.
Yes, novels with conversations look more authentic with informal language. Yes, it's more what you'd really say. I agree. Okay, just two more things in this. One, diverse cast in every way. I love young Sheldon too, Olivia. Mm-hmm. So a diverse cast in every way, as long as that is, true, authentic to the story. So you want to have a diverse cast as far as ethnicities, people who are disabled, having people disabled in it. So the more diversity, if diversity fits your book, and it's not always true, like Nadine and Judith, when you're talking about historical fiction, you say what is true to that era.
That's right. It's
There
about
was-
diversity.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm doing my research. Goldridge, I think is his name, founded the first public school in Colorado, in Denver. He had 13 students, and some of them were Arapaho children and
Yeah.
children of
Good.
color. Children of
Uh-huh.
color were in their first school in Denver.
And I think that is great to find out and share, because so much of our history has only been one color and very vanilla and not had the diversity that existed. So I
Yeah.
think the more we can bring diversity in to our stories, and Hamilton is a great example too. Hamilton is a beautiful story, and there's far more African Americans in Hamilton than there were in that historic period, I would imagine. I don't know that that's 100% true, but and it made it so successful and come alive, and a much richer, deeper story. So I think that is such an important thing for us to remember, is we want the richness and the deepness of having a diverse group of individuals. And, my book is all about people with disabilities. So including people with disabilities too is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So we just have a few more minutes. We have about 4 more minutes. The last thing is avoid stereotypical characters.
Ooh,
Because
thank you.
it's a very lazy way to write.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that the person is real, and that, like we have said about all those other things, that is what created them, and not the stereotypical view we might have of whoever it is. And I think people with disabilities is another one too. That it's very easy to get into a stereotypical place for them.
I like that.
Okay. Let's see, we got 3 minutes. And 3 minutes, I want you to go around. Here's the things we have left to do. I want you to say if you have social media platforms that you want to let us know about. If you have a website, make sure you tell us your website. We are also going to hold up our books and take a picture. Mark is going to take our picture. So I think we can do that in the next 3 minutes. But I'm going to say this to make sure I get this said, because it's really important. And I've been with Reader's Magnet for a little over a year. I started last January 4th, and it's been an amazing journey. But I just want to say, remember that with Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. And they truly, truly do. It's been a great journey. Okay, so now let's start with Rita. Okay, we have 5 minutes remaining, so we may have a little bit more time, but that's cool. So in 5 minutes, Rita, can you share with us if you do have a website or social media platform?
Okay. Sorry you can't see me, but I'm glad you can hear me. No, I don't have either one of them. That's why I'm completely new in this area.
Yeah.
And the people in Reader's Magnet are helping me to kind of integrate myself into the author's, what do you call it, forum or something like that.
Right.
So they are building a website for me.
Good.
But I have email address and phone number and all that, Facebook private accounts, and Instagram private accounts. So when they finish building all those things, I will have someone help me to kind of synchronize all of them so that when I present it, it will be like everybody will know what it is. But right now, I would say no.
Great. Well, I'm glad you're getting it, Rita. You're going to be able to get known much faster when you have those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Lonnie? I'm going across my little screen.
All right. My website is themorishamericaninstitute.org, and I type that here for you with my 3 published books, and I host Lonnie's show.
Oh, nice.
That's on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all that stuff. You can just type in Lonnie's show and find me real easy.
Lonnie's show?
Yes.
Lonnie's show.
Is that a misprint in American?
Yes, it is. Sorry about that.
My editing
Good
skills.
eye.
Good job, Louis.
Moorish.
All right.
Let me take a
Nadine.
picture of it.
No, I
Thank you
don't.
very much.
I do not.
You will.
Yet.
Next
I will,
year,
yes.
you will. What about you, Clarence?
Yes, I have a Facebook, Clarence Cosby Books on Facebook, and Clarence Cosby Books on Instagram.
Books,
Clarence Cosby Books.
Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Louis.
I have a Facebook account that's just my name. So I guess if you know my name, you could just find me on
All right.
Facebook. I
There's
also have a
100
website.
people with that name. I'll never find you.
My father had that name, but he's deceased, so it's just me.
It's just you. Panagato.
Yeah, it's very vowely. Panagotopoulos.
Panagotopoulos.
Yeah, actually, when my daughter-in-law got married, she was a fourth grade teacher, and that became a spelling lesson for one of her classes.
Oh, I love it.
Where's your name from, Louis?
Oh, it's Greece. It's from
Oh.
a
Greek.
mountain village outside of Greece.
All right. Thank you.
And I have a website, and
Okay.
it's called www.ourguyrules, and it's just RGUI rules RULES.com, because that's one of my favorite characters. It's not the Great Mandala, but it's definitely, this guy is a jester. He's definitely the main character is a jester, and
Nice.
again, it's our guy. And throughout the book, I refer to him as our guy. He refers to himself as our guy, because it's a play on the words OUR, our guy, and
Nice.
character. So it's, our guy rules.
RGUY?
Yes,
Our guy. I thought you were saying guide. RGUY.
right, rules.
Okay. And last but not least, Judith.
I have a website, judithaperkins.com, and I have a Facebook account, just Judy Perkins.
Nice. Judy Perkins.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Most
You
everybody calls me Judy. So
Oh.
Judith is my legal name, but
Unless you're in trouble.
yeah, that's right. My mother used to call me Judith when she was angry with me.
Judith?
Right.
Yeah.
My wife's named Judith. My
Oh,
wife
good.
of almost 50 years, so I'm
Well,
very
I
used
think-
to that name.
I
Yeah.
think the year I was born, every other child in the United States was named Judith.
Yeah,
There were a lot of them in my class in school.
Yeah.
right. Well, you guys have just been awesome. I'm so grateful for what I learned from you all. I know the people watching learned a lot. And I look forward to what you're going to create, what you have created. I'll check out your websites, see what you got going on. I'll be thinking about Yoda all day. But thank you. I hope you enjoy some other events that are going on. I'm doing a class a week from today at the same time on, it says it's on writing children's books.
Mhm.
It's a little bit about writing children's books, but it's also about figuring out different ways to publish. So I'll be talking about the differences in being self-published, traditional published, the pluses and minuses of those.
Crafting stories for young readers.
Yes, that is
That's
the one.
you. That is you.
Yeah, that is me.
Yay!
Good.
And then I'm doing some on my own that have to do with my book. I also have an online class, the ABCs of Stress Relief. That's my life. There it is. Anyway, that you can see from my website. And there's a 25% off coupon if you sign up for it. And you get an activity journal and a gratitude journal. along
Linda,
with it.
what's your website?
LindaDrake.com, spelled Lynda.
All right.
Parents that didn't know how to spell. It's not my fault.
It works.
Okay, hold up those books for the picture.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. We got to hold up our. Thank you for reminding me. I knew I was going to forget. I don't have to hold mine up. It's there.
Yeah,
All
right.
right, Mark, are you ready to take our picture? Ready, set, cheeseburger, Yoda. Done. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Fun.
Thank you very much.
That was a great leadership you did on that. You would be a
Yes.
leader in the list of archetypes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You did a great
Thank you,
job
Linda.
keeping us all in
Thank you
line.
so much.
Thank you guys.
Take care,
All
everyone.
right.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Oh, the ending video is coming up.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.